everybody. This is Pastor John. I am here with Pastor David Whitmore from Catalyst Church, and we're partnering with David on their food bank. And I just wanted you to be able to hear a little bit about what's going on and why they felt in their heart to start a food bank. So if you could just tell us a little bit about what you do and why you do it.
Sure. So we currently right now, just on Thursdays from 4 to 6 p.m., are serving, right now it's the drive-through food pantry, but before that, when we first started partnering, we actually had the full-fledged food pantry, and we're feeding 3 breakfasts, 3 lunches, 3 dinners, and roughly about 6,000 meals a month is what we're feeding. So
6,000?
6,000 meals a month.
Wow.
So that's where a partnership like yours comes in. But actually didn't actually start with this massive endeavor. It actually started with one summer. My wife and I had a compassion for the students at Teacup Elementary School.
Okay. I went to grade school there.
Okay, good. So you know how awesome of a school is and the needs that are there too.
Yes.
So ultimately what we ended up doing is we went around during the summer, we got a list from the school and started passing out food to homes.
Awesome.
That our church needed food, so we started to provide food for them, and slowly but surely it grew to what it is today.
Awesome. So 6,000 meals a month.
Yes.
So I guess that takes quite a bit of help and assistance getting that done.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Absolutely.
How many people interact in your food bank to prepare and get it ready and hand out?
Okay, so
and I know it's probably a little different now.
Yes, so I'll go back to what it's going to be after our drive-through, but we probably have an army of about 12 to 13 volunteers every single Thursday when it's normal.
Okay.
And we do from data entry to we have what we call table talkers, where they come down to our lobby and they just talk to people, pray with people, and encourage them and strengthen them. So that's a spiritual approach. And then we have a team in this room here, our actual food pantry, where we put the boxes together and send them down, and actually have teams that actually bring them out to their car, because we want to serve them all the way out to their vehicle instead of just saying, here's your food, go away.
That's awesome. I like the table talk. Or tabletop talkers?
Yes, absolutely.
Say that 3 times fast. So I think that's something that is, for a church especially, is the vital part, because that's where you can connect with them on a spiritual level.
Absolutely.
Because even though they have physical needs, I think people really need that spiritual connection and help.
Absolutely.
And I'm guessing, and just based on our conversations, that's really the groundwork and why you wanted to start this. Is there was a physical need, but really you planted this church because you saw a spiritual need in the area.
100%. So that's the interesting thing. So a story, for example, was we had a lady that came in to our food pantry in desperate need. She had a virus within itself, AIDS. Okay. And we took care of her all the way through. Other churches kind of pushed her away after they found out that she had AIDS and that she lived in poverty and so on and so forth. Long story short, she did not know Christ. She came to the food pantry and we fed her physically. Right. We started to feed her spiritually during the table talking. Sure. And then ultimately she started to come to our church. Okay. Church services. She came to know Christ. And then from there, she actually talked about the full cycle. She started to serve at the food pantry. She became a table talker. Her whole family came to know Christ, and literally about a year ago, she passed away from AIDS. So with that being said, that's an interesting, just the cycle of what Christ in us does, and that's the spiritual approach of a physical need.
That's a great story. Meeting a temporary physical need. Hunger is temporary. You're hungry long enough, you'll die, but it's still temporary. But you are able to meet her on a spiritual, eternal level. So now we know right where she's at.
Absolutely. 100%.
And she's AIDS-free.
Yes.
Celebrating with Jesus. And she was able to help people here, even in her condition, help them meet a spiritual
100%. And that's where the partnership that you guys are helping us and whatever God has in store for your church with this is going to be, it lasts so much longer, and we get to be the hands and feet of Jesus. And as you know, that's the heart of Jesus. It's like, where are the poor, where are the hurting, where are the physically sick, and how can we bring them restoration physically to ultimately point them to the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Yes.
So.
Man, that's a great testimony. Any other testimonies or?
Well, some other testimony, let's say volunteer-wise, we've been having, we do a lot of outreaches, but this niche, to be able to have these 12 to 15 people on a rotation,
okay,
you get to see people as volunteers. So if you have volunteers that want to serve in a food pantry, you don't have to be a part of Catalyst Church to be a part of this food pantry. Right. But at the same time, we got to see the spiritual growth and almost the stigma of poverty broken throughout our church, because they get to see people as people, not people as statistic or people as broken, but people as people. So our volunteers, and it's kind of been a trickle effect throughout our church.
Yeah.
Now,
but it's a cultural change.
Yes.
And it's a foundational belief in people. Because I think it's easy, and we're seeing this in the world today, how people are dehumanized and treated wrong,
correct,
improperly, just whatever words you want to put in there, they're treated horribly because they're not seen as humans, they're not seen as people or whatever, they're just a statistic or a number or something. 100%. And you're saying that this volunteering in there, and to the people at Gethsemane, if you're saying, wow, I want to help in something like that, I think you'd be fine with having people from Gethsemane come help and volunteer. So if you're interested in that, you can call me at the church, or send me an email. I'll post my email and information on this video as well. But we're partnering financially, but if we have people that want to come help physically, you're more than...
Absolutely, especially after our drive-through food pantry ends, when we're back to the full-fledged thing. Absolutely. Right now, we're bare bones type of thing, but after everything opens back up, normalized,
we can get them on a list.
Yes, absolutely, 100%, and get them on a rotation. We have a scheduling program that schedules volunteers and so on and so forth. So,
awesome. You know, this is a just a great way to, again, meet that physical need, to introduce them to the heart of Jesus.
Absolutely.
And I love whenever Jesus fed the 5,000, it was the disciples, they said, you know, hey, we need to send these people away. And Jesus said, no, you don't. You feed them.
Absolutely.
And they were like, well, we don't have the resources, you know. And Jesus is like, yes, you do. You know, I'm here. Yeah. And if they would have looked to Jesus in the first place, instead of looking to their natural resources, they would have been able to meet the needs of the people.
And so let me testify about that too, because literally Catalyst Church started with nobody, no money, and now we have a facility that we are trying to throw stuff away, because God has always provided stuff. But just kind of give you a testimony of that is, in the abundance of God's grace, when we're obedient to especially loving the poor and the impoverished people, I really believe that the ears of Christ opens up even more so. Because, for example, our fall festival, all this stuff that we see is partnering with other people, partnering with individuals, and say churches like yours. But one of our biggest incomes is our fall festival. Okay. So our fall festival booth, I was one of these that says I would never have a fall festival booth, not a chance, until one day, literally after we started to be obedient with this, the Nut Club actually called us up and said, we want to offer you a spot in the fall festival booth.
And that doesn't usually happen.
No, it's an 8-year waiting list.
It's like a wait list,
if we even sign up. So come to find, I did not sign up for it. I did not request to be on that list. Long story short is, we have a fall festival booth, and we are able to fund 90% of the funds that come in. Profit goes right out to the food pantry to be able to attempt to feed the need. So there, it's when you're obedient to the heartbeat of Christ, the overflow of that is going to be God doing what he does.
God will open doors that no man can open.
Absolutely. And it won't, I guarantee you it won't make sense. I guarantee you it won't make sense. But
God's good at that.
He really
He confounds the wise, you know, and it's just awesome.
It really is cool. So
that's great.
Yep.
So feeding 6,000 people, 12 to 13 volunteers every week. And you mentioned a couple times like the old normal and now our new normal drive-through. I just preached a message called Our New Normal.
Okay, so, there you go. That worked out.
Because, going forward even, I would imagine during this time, let's just say there's been an increase, or there's been at least a expanded demand for it, with people losing jobs and less resources, less income. Have you seen anything like that tick up?
Well, I think I'll use these words lightly. Finally, the Church of Jesus Christ in our city is seeing the needs of people. So we've been partnering with Need a Neighbor.
Yes,
so
I was going to bring that
an
up.
incredible opportunity. So actually, our numbers through our drive-through food pantry have not actually increased. Actually, this last week it's been bumped up a little bit. Because the church is actually taking care of the needs on a citywide thing. So the people that actually drive through our food pantry is actually about the same or down actually a little bit, because that's the beauty of the church, that the church is doing what it's supposed to do. And that's where, like, Gethsemane coming in and partnering with us, allowing us to get the food and so on and so forth, helps out a lot. So I believe that if you as the church at Gethsemane would actually step out on faith to do what God has called us to do, to like birth into the heartbeat of Christ, you'll be able to see some really neat things, not only happen in your city, but as the Big C Church unites together, there's where revival actually starts.
Yeah, that's great, because we're partnered with Need a Neighbor, and we're in the infant stages of it. I know you've been doing it for a while and participating in it and helping meet the needs of the people around the city. And if you're interested in that, again, contact me. I will set you up with how to participate in that. Because we at Gethsemane can meet the needs of, we may not have a food bank with all this, but we can meet the needs of a family needing groceries for a few days, or diapers for a week, or something like that.
It's
so
huge. It's absolutely huge.
Yeah,
So absolutely.
It's something, again, you're meeting that physical need that opens them up to the spiritual, because for too long the church has been inward focused and trying to take care of the church rather than being the church and taking care of the world,
100%.
Which is what Jesus came to do.
Absolutely. And that Need a Neighbor is so cool, because we coined the statement, own your zip code. So it actually sends you a notification after you sign up. Then you can be like, okay, 47712, there's a need there. We can look on the map, and then here I can, not a pastor of a church as Dave, I can go out and serve my zip code and take ownership of that.
That's
so
awesome.
That's the neat thing about it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, any final words that you'd like to say or comment on?
Yeah, just thank you guys for your partnership, without a doubt. And we can't wait to see what the partnership's going to look like as we rub shoulders together.
Yes.
And we don't have to be socially distant.
Which we're kind of breaking.
We're kind of breaking it a little bit too. So
I think testifying about Jesus, we have supernatural protection and health and healing. So I think we're good.
But I want to encourage Gethsemane. Find the heartbeat of your pastors and come in line, and let's see what God's going to do, because it's not necessarily the heartbeat of your pastors, but the heartbeat of Jesus.
Yes.
And if it's heartbeat of Jesus, cool things will happen.
We want to be involved in that.
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
Amen. Well, thank you again for interviewing and meeting with me and talking about the food pantry. Hopefully, you watching, you're able to see the heart of the situation, and just I'm going to post some pictures as well of the area so you get a better idea. But thank you very much for watching. Thank you again for participating.
Thank you.
We love you all, and God bless.